putting this on my podcast so that you guys are going to be aware of that. And also, I'll be doing an extra podcast maybe later today, seeing how it goes for to talk about my internship. I'll be doing my first internship today, starting at noon. It will be 3 hours or so, starting this week, and then April 10th is when I believe the class actually starts. So that I'll be, having to wear a nice shirt, no jeans, because that's not how you actually go into a classroom. You're supposed to look nice, sharp, whatever, right? So I'll be discussing what the internship will be entailing and what is actually the internship. So, as you know, I have done peer advocacy. I am trying to become a case manager alongside actually going to class for creative writing. So, I mean, I'm just doing stuff right now because the job things are very scarce. I haven't been able to actually get any job so far as of right now. So we'll just see how well that goes. I've never been successful as I would have liked to be. I thought that I would be churning them out and be one of those YouTube influencers or whatever I touch turned to gold. Apparently, everything I touch turns to ashes and soot and dust because it just floats out into the wind and I just can't ever pick up my own pieces. But it's okay because down the line, maybe when I'm in my 40s, everything will go right and I'll die doing something good. So here's chapter 2. It's called Drill. This is a chapter about my adopted younger brother. Um, Drill was a monster, plain and simple. Drill got away with everything and was able to control the entire family. Whatever he wanted, he got it. He was allowed to pick on Orchid, because he couldn't pick on Daisy. She wouldn't allow it. Plus, his mom picked on Orchid, so why not the whole family, right? So if he was able to do it, then the whole family was able to. So why not him, right? There was this one time that everyone was sitting at the dinner table talking, and Joe got mad about something that he couldn't have, or because he was being told no. So he swung his knapsack around, hoping to hit something or someone, and it did. Just not the person he was aiming for. He was trying to aim at Daisy, but it didn't actually connect with Daisy. It actually connected with Orchid, and it nipped her in the neck. So she started to bleed, and it was still her fault because she was bleeding. So you're not supposed to have, technically not supposed to have punctured skin. So, it was my fault for bleeding and everything. Right. So aiming for when it hit Orchard, it cut her across the neck, and she was bleeding. He didn't need to apologize because, well, it was Orchard. She wasn't really anything to anyone, really. Just look at the history. Until this day, it was still not, entirely something that somebody would want to be friends with or date or anything like that. It's okay. I can be by myself. I have been to this day, and will continue to do that, I guess. This happened when his mom was out of town. So, Charlotte was around and he was being an a-hole, and he can't because technically he thought he could get away with it, which he actually could in certain areas. She went out of town a lot for the time. She went out of town a lot for the time for business. Yeah, so she was part of the entertainment industry, so she was in and out of, on weekends she had to go to work by, doing comedy. So the comedy was that she had to go out of town to do her job. It happened. It was her job. When she was gone, Charlotte came over to watch them. The neck cutting incident happened when she was not there. The neck cutting incident happened when she was there on her watch. It was Charlotte's watch that happened. Charlotte got mad and told him to call their mom to tell her what he did. He wasn't punished for it. Told he was just told not to do it again. Yeah, that is really going to help. The other two siblings didn't get punished for anything, while Orchid got punished, even if she didn't fit the crime. So yeah, so even if I was always punished for something and it never fit the crime, so it was always that I needed to apologize. I needed to say sorry, basically, because they were the golden children, and I was always the suck up, the effed up one because I was physically disabled. Um, One time when Daisy was having a sleepover, Orchid was not supposed to talk to the guests because she would embarrass the little sister, not just for the way that she walked, but she made the family look bad because they liked talking to her. So, I'm happy, go peppy. I'm able to talk to people. And since she was shy, she would just be like, yeah, okay, huh? And people saw how fake she was and they didn't wanted to be around somebody who was fake. And she did not like that because it didn't make her feel good. So obviously, I wasn't allowed to be around being my real true self. So it wasn't supposed to happen like this. It made the little sister jealous and she didn't want Orchid to take away her friends. Orchid never had sleepovers because she couldn't invite friends over anyway. She was supposed to be alone, just like her mother, and just have her mother for company. How boring. She never experienced what she saw in the movies. The girls talking about boys, giving other girls makeovers, having pizza, or something like that. So, yeah, growing up, I never actually had true girlfriends to go out to the mall with, just hang out with, driving around crazy in a car. So, the only high school experience I ever saw was actually those horrendous movies about teenage life growing up. And that's all, how I actually ever saw was like the Lizzie McGuire show. In my early 20s, I wasn't actually able to see those types of movies because my mom didn't want me to actually know that that's technically roughly what it was supposed to be. I don't know. I just had those movies for guidance. I didn't really actually know what those were. She could never tell her friends about sex because she never had a boyfriend in school either. So this was just another experience that she skipped in her young adolescence. All in all, there wasn't anything to say. She couldn't even pick a movie most of the time because the others complained when she did. Or if they did, they would call mom and Orchid would have to go to bed because even mom didn't want her up watching a movie with the rest of the family. Yeah, so the other two golden children wanted to watch something, and if they knew that they could call mom on me, and they would get what they want. So if they didn't want me around, they just say, "Oh, Tosha did this," and then mom would be like, "Tosha, you have to go to bed because you're not supposed to be. I have to be isolated from the rest of the family, and you know that, So, yeah, that's mostly what happened. Until the disability went away, this was how it was going to be. So yeah, so until my disability of cerebral palsy, which was you're born with, you can't. It's a neurological disability, so it's not going to go away. You're going to have it for life. So by doing that, that was just an excuse for them to treat somebody meanly, to be mean too. So yeah, so Orchard liked Daisy's birthdays. There was this one time that they went to Mickey Mouse World, Disneyland. I just couldn't call it Disneyland. They got to stay at the hotel. There was entertainment galore. Orchard couldn't participate because it wasn't her birthday, so whatever the birthday girl wanted, she got it. It made sense, but if you were a part of this family, it wouldn't make sense for somebody not to be a part of the family to have fun. Not this family. Orchard had to follow her mother around 24/7. And if she didn't want to be bothered with Orchid, then she would stay in the hotel room, not open the door, and not try looking for them because they wanted to have fun. So, yeah, like the same thing. Because my birthdays were so awful and boring, and my Christmases were always, I had to cater to everybody else, right? The her birthdays were if we went to Disneyland and we went to the Disneyland hotel, I couldn't talk to anybody. I had to stand right next to my mother and make sure that, you know, I was making her look good. I was making my sister look good. So I had to make everybody else look good, and I had to make a fool of myself because that's what my disability looked like. It's making a fool out of people. So she would be able to go down the water slide, and I had to sit, behind my mother in like a corner, obviously sticking out like a sore thumb. So by her trying to hide me, it didn't go well because obviously people were going to see that, but clearly they weren't going to actually talk about it because that's not their kid. So if I couldn't look like a wallflower and make her not look good, which was whatever, she had to look good wherever the cost. So if she couldn't do that, then she had to have me be put into the hotel room. And if the people, were cleaning the room, I had to, stand out in the hallway. And then after they were done cleaning the room, I had to then go back in because I wasn't allowed to show my disability to people. It was embarrassment, right? She was on punishment anyway. Duh. Like, when was she not? Daffodil didn't want Orchid to have people feel sorry for her because of how she walked. It wasn't her fault again. But because of this, she oftentimes was hidden from the world because it was easy to have everyone look and walk the same and talk the same, basically. Holidays were the worst. Unlike birthdays, she got gifts she didn't want, but she still got something, which was better than nothing. Holidays were worse because her mother would threaten to return her gifts if she didn't get the math right, or if she just felt like, no, she just felt like it. If she won Christmas, I, was doing something again, being a kid, and she said that she wanted to return my birthday, well, the Christmas gifts, because I wasn't doing something like usual. It's always, Toshi, if you don't do this and I don't look good and I don't feel good, then I will take it out on you. So basically, my gifts were returned to, make sure she got her money back so she actually didn't spend all that much money, or that she would tell me about it and not get me any gifts anyway. It's just how it was. Even if she did get her math right, her mom would keep the gifts for herself sometimes. Yeah, I had this mom actually had this awesome Green Day sweatshirt that I really truly wanted, and she told me that she had all these Green Day outfits, these shirts and stuff, because she knew how much I adored Green Day. But instead of giving it to me, she wore it herself, and she was like, I don't even know what this band is, and she kept making fun of the name Green Day as something that would be part of the earth, but she didn't even realize that they were a rock band. That's how much she actually knows her stuff, but she's in her 60s now, so you can't really, blame her. She had a mental disability, I guess, but she had her own substance issues too. So last Christmas was really bad. When Orchard told her mom that she was ready to leave, her mother got mad at her. She shouted at her that she was too stupid to live on her own and that she needed her mother. She was never going to survive because she didn't want her daughter to get SSI because she didn't believe in it. That's another thing. Now, last Christmas, I ever actually told her that I wanted to be on my own, but I had to be on fucking SSI. Excuse my language again. The stupid SSI shit. I couldn't do it by myself, and I wasn't going to be doing what she did. She struck out on her own, and she was able to get a job just walking into a restaurant as a bus girl, and I can't do busing because you have to have balance. So she wanted me to be exactly like her, to do the exact same stuff she did, because she was trying to create a little mini her. But because I was my own person, she couldn't do that. Plus, I had a disability, so the disability wasn't going to allow me to be a bus girl so that I could then work my way up to whatever it is. So she basically thought I was going to live with her for forever. That's what she thought. She thought that because she was so insecure about herself and so not sure how she looked at, right, that she wanted me to validate her credibility by never leaving the house and by always being with her and making her look good, making her feel good, making her, right? It's all about her. And she acts as if she is the most caring and giving person in the world. Oh, she is such a caring comedian that, you know, she actually screws up a lot. Um, so she doesn't like SSI because she thinks that it's stealing money from the government, from people's taxpayers. But this is how I have to live, because technically, by being disabled, you are cut from society automatically. You're cut from society. You can't do a lot of stuff anyway because you were born with a challenge. So that cuts it. You get cut by a third because of your disability, right? So you're not going to be as smart as they want you to be. You don't look the proper look. So it's all about beauty to the community. It's all about looking good. So the community itself is fake, basically, is what she was saying, that you have to look a certain way. She never fit the norm. She always felt like she was messed up. She looked bad. So clearly I was the same way as her, because she saw my disability and she felt how I looked at it, which is, she actually told me that. But so she wanted what she had gone through. Her mother had left her parents' house in her teens, that they went to get a job later in life, but that was in the 60s and 70s when a young woman ventured into the world. It was different. It was a different time back then from now. She also wasn't disabled, but she got by and eventually got a job. And then from there, she was able to be where she was today. It wasn't overnight, but her mother wanted her steps to be followed. Her daughter wasn't going to be able to do the exact same thing, which is what I was just talking about. The last straw that made Orchid decide to leave the house was when she had to watch her mother sleep when she got her math wrong. So another punishment that my mom did was when I wasn't following how she perceived it, because again, my disability, made it where it was not good, right? Was that she would make me watch her sleep. So it'd be like 1 or 2 in the morning and I would still be standing having to wait for her to check my math. And sometimes it would be like 5 or 6 in the fucking morning before she actually was able to get up and say, okay, now you can go to bed. But then by that time I had to get ready for school. So I would be up all night because she wanted to make sure that my disability didn't get me in trouble, basically, which is not the way to do it. But I can understand that she didn't want my disability to hinder me from doing stuff, which was a good thing. But how she did it was the effed up part. So, So the other thing was when she couldn't take a shower. That was another thing. Anytime I got punished, I couldn't take a shower. So sometimes when I had to sneak in to take a shower, I would get caught in the shower because, again, my brother was always watching me. He always wanted to make sure that he was in charge of me so that he could get in trouble. Plus, he was going through adolescence, so he wanted a girlfriend, and he felt like he couldn't get one. So he wanted to try to look at me, and my mom just paraded me around the whole house, just like, oh, look at Tosha, look at Tosha, look at Tosha. Look, she has no clothes on. Look at her, look at her, look at her. And he was loving it because he was a guy, so he got a heart on, and he was just like, oh, yeah, make her do this, make her do that. And mom was like, no, go away. But she didn't actually, stop it completely. So it was kind of like, oh, that's cute, she would not, if she did, she would be pulled out of the shower. Sometimes there would still be soap in her hair. Her brother Drill, who was growing up, was getting into his hormones like a normal boy, and he watched Orchid walk from the bathroom to her room naked. Her mother didn't really have her covered. She may be a young lady, but it didn't seem to count. He loved when this happened, and he got to see one of the girls naked. Yoo-hoo! Free porn for the taking. This would cause a problem since he was the only guy there besides the handyman. He thought that this was a free invitation for him to make a move on his older sister. Again, when the mother wasn't there, he wrote Orchard a note about him wanting to have sex with her. Orchard told Charlotte about it, and Charlotte had seen this coming. It was also a problem because he had seen her naked already. So it's like, okay, yeah. So because mom is like dangling this naked lady in front of him, and there's the boobs, the pussy, and the butt. That's all guys really like. They don't like that you have a personality or have a brain. All they like is to see the pussy, the boobs, and the butt. That's all they really like. And that's what he had wanted to see. So technically, he got to see it. So he's like, okay, well, let me make a move because mom seems to be trying to shove her in my face. So let's go for it, right? But he made sure that the mom wasn't there, right, to make his move, right? Her mother didn't want to believe this because she had lost her kids once. So yeah, because of her substance issues, she lost us. So then when we came back, he pulled this. So then that would make us go back into the system again because of her negligence and because she already lost her court case. She would then lose this, and she would actually probably be deemed ill-fit to be a parent. But because she didn't want to look bad one more time, she blamed it again on me. The little scapegoat. Her mother didn't want to believe that because to this day, Orchid and Daisy were both mad at mom. Daisy wanted Daisy because she was told and didn't like that Orchid was blamed for it, and she thought that she was next, which is a legit thing. If you think that the older one is going to get punished for stuff, she would actually be the next one punished too. So that's why she never wanted to go against the mother. But she was also harboring a lot of anger issues toward our mother, and I still have anger problems toward her too. She thought that her mother was in the wrong, which she was, but she thought that if she said anything, her mother would treat her the same way. So everybody was trying to just be out the way, and the mom actually kind of realized that, but she fully didn't understand it. She understood a little bit, like, why does anybody want to be with me? I'm a loving person. Me. You have to love me. You have to show me. You have to me. Why isn't anybody with the me shit? So Orchard was one weird parent-teacher. Orchard had one weird parent-teacher conference. There was this one time that Orchard had to go to school stinky because her mom was running late and she wasn't told that she could change that morning. She had the parent-teacher conference that same morning. Orchard was at the library, and the librarian felt sorry for her, so she was nice enough to get Orchard a coat from her car so that Orchard could feel like a human again, right? As Orchard was leaving the library, her mom showed up. She asked Orchard where she got her clothes from. Orchard told her mother that who gave it to her, and behind Orchard's back, the librarian got in trouble because mom always loved to do that. She always made to, she always loved to get people in trouble because she just wanted me to always not have friends, not have anybody be around me. So I was forever just sitting in a corner looking like a depressed dog, and she loved that because that made her feel good. Oh, I told she's a depressed dog. Oh, let me talk to her and she'll be happy, like, oh, chipper, But it never actually worked that way to what she was trying to do, and I don't know why she kept trying it, but she kept trying it. So, she Orchard was later told what happened. She wanted to apologize to her, but she wasn't there anymore, so she might have been avoiding her. People did that when they met her and then her mother. Her mother caused her to look bad a lot of the time. So in this case, the last time in school was at the teacher conference that same day. Daffodil thought that her teachers were stupid anyway, and today especially. She still thinks that they were, right? At the conference, there was a little fight between everyone who showed up. In the end, Daffodil cussed Orchid out while her teachers looked on. They had been cussed out earlier in the morning, so they were kind of sick of her anyway. The result was on Orchard she told she told her mother that they called Child Protective Services on her. It didn't bother Daffodil. It was again okay with Orchard because that was how it works. So yeah, because she cussed me out in front of the teachers, and then she cussed the teachers out for trying to believe anything I stated or said, right? Because, oh, Tosha's just saying stuff, she's disabled. So because Tosha's disabled, don't just put her in a corner, just have her shoved in a corner, put all the chairs up so she can't be seen, right? And all that, right? So just make sure that Tosha doesn't talk, right? Make her look disabled because that's what she is, right? So because of that, they called Child Protective Services on her, and she just laughed it off. She was like, they're stupid anyway, and she actually said, well, what did you do? And I said, I didn't do anything, I just said, I just told her exactly what happened. So she was just like, well, I'll fight them off, basically. So, the teachers looked on and stuff like that. The last Mother's Day was terrible for the family, more for Orchid than anyone else. Orchid had been suppressing her feelings up to this point. She had years of physical and mental abuse. This was going to be the last time and the last year that her family was going to be under the same roof. Orchid's buttons was about to break. The thing that was going to put it over the top was her mother. Mother dearest, oh dear, dear mother dearest, oh fuck you. On the one hand, Orchard saw her mother's point of view, but families were supposed to listen to each other. So what about Orchard's point of view? It ended up being that Orchard was pushed away instead of conceding to her mother's wishes. Orchard packed up her stuff and a little grocery cart that she got for her birthday. This was one of the only gifts that wasn't taken away. I got a little old granny grocery cart that mom called it because she wanted me to learn how to go grocery shopping, which was okay, right? But then, it was that she knew that I didn't have enough money, so she had me go to like the most expensive place possible, which was near like the Whole Foods near the house because Santa Monica is fucking expensive, right? So she knew it was expensive, so I wasn't going to be getting anything. So I had to practice walking to the grocery store, right? Get on the bus because she knew I wasn't going to be ever able to drive, which, boy, was she wrong, right? But she thought I wasn't going to be able to do anything. So she was trying to push me to come back to her and say how sorry I was for actually thinking that I was capable of being able to do anything for myself, right? But clearly she showed just how strong I actually really am. So by pushing me away, it actually was a good thing. The good thing about this was she was taught how to go grocery shopping by herself and how to bring these groceries home and put them away. This was one of the only good things that her mother did. She learned how to do her meds and how to exercise and how to wash the dishes. Practical stuff that people should know in every household. So I'm not sure if every household does this, where a parent would teach you how to do the dishes, if you take meds, how to do your own meds, and if you are, cooking for the family or stuff, each one has a chore. Maybe not, I don't know, because I don't know what goes on in every household. But if that is the case, it's actually a good thing. If it's not the case, you should do it. So that's just how I see it, She was also taught how to budget her money. If she had enough for groceries, then it was great. If not, then she couldn't get any. See, simple budgeting, right? Daffodil thought everything she could think of under the sun for her disabled daughter to stay with her since she was too stupid to get things done by herself. Until this day, she still thinks I'm pretty fucking stupid. She thinks that because you have a physical disability, it warped your brain into believing certain things that actually would not be necessarily the case if it was for her or if it was for anybody who, was book savvy or just looking not physically disabled, right? So when Orchard finally left her mother, she was so mad that anyone she told anyone who helped Orchid out that she was going to call the cops on them after disowning them. So it actually happened where that's the end of chapter 2. We can do chapter 3 tomorrow, maybe. But yeah, no, she actually still thought that by anybody helping me out that I was having, she only thought that I could ever make everybody feel sorry for me, and she didn't want that to happen. So if she was told by anybody that that I was doing stuff to make myself, to do stuff, right? Because people need help, but she didn't want me to have any help. Because if you had any help, she wanted to be where, like her, she doesn't need help. She is the perfect person that, even though she may think that she actually needed help, she won't ask for it. She's that stubborn that she was asked somebody to help her with the computer, and then as soon as they like try to like help her a little bit, she's like, okay, I got it, and then can you come back? So she liked to do this push me, pull me thing. So she thought that I was going to be the same way, where if anybody helped me, or she found out that anybody would help me, that she would actually disown them and probably try to put them to jail, try to sue them, all that stuff, because she felt like, well, if Tosha's asking for help, then she must have done this or that, because Tosha is disabled, and who's disabled can't do anything for herself. Well, does she know that, yes, I'm living by myself, so yeah, clearly she already knows that, but she doesn't know that I have so much more stuff that is actually working out semi well so far. Still not to what I would have liked it to be for myself, but it's still something. So who knows? Who knows where I would be next? I'm hoping that I'm semi where I want to be. But anyway, have a happy hump day, and I shall be maybe back at the podcast later today, maybe tomorrow. So, all right, thanks, guys.